Hello everyone, this is H the Husky here. I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1 between the blue Protoss player. His name is Colonel Cruncher. I actually am not sure how you should say COL, but that is his clan. His name is his Cruncher, but it always makes me think Colonel Cruncher. His opponent is going to be Gretorp up in the top right side. I usually say Gretorp, but I think there's a couple different ways of pronouncing this. I don't know which way he prefers, but he is going to be the Red Terran player, and the map is going to be Tal'Darim Altar. Now, both these players have some, I would say, pretty interesting stories about them, which I think is cool for StarCraft to have players with very unique kind of stories and, you know, kind of characters and personas and all of that. So Gretorp is currently a caster for the NASL, and so he casts that quite frequently. The NASL airs multiple times a week. He is very busy with that, co-casting with In Control and all of that. So yeah, he's kind of known for that. He is a top Terran player as well. So he is caster slash grandmaster player, and I do have his rank right here. Let's see if I can find it. He is currently ranked 62 on the North American server with 235 wins, 181 losses, which is a 56.49% win rate. His opponent, Cruncher, also fairly well ranked on the North American servers. He is currently ranked number 86th with 242 wins, 88 losses, which is a 73.33, repeating of course, percent win rate. So not too bad at all for either of these players. And again, the map is Tal'Darim Altar. The reason I like to emphasize that is because this map is ginormous, and apparently there is the Tal'Darim Altar right there. If you ever wondered what it looked like, kind of underwhelming now that I think about it. But regardless, they are in cross-spawn locations, which you know what that means. Most likely going to be a macro game, and the reason I say that is because look at how long it'll take this SCV to get here. Are you guys counting? Because it's going to take a long time, and it takes your army equally as long to get that far out across the map. Not saying that we will see a long game, simply because every time I seem to say, yeah, it's Tal'Darim Altar, we are going to see a long macro game, undoubtedly. And then the game's over, like, before I'm even done talking. So that's the awesome thing about StarCraft. That is one of the things. There's two, oh, gas steal right there. You annoying man, Cruncher, you. Yeah, there's two things that I've always liked about StarCraft. Number one, the game can end at any time, and you never know when that is going to be. And number two, any player can beat any player if they are playing their best that day, so you never know what's going to happen at all, which is probably why StarCraft is the best sport ever, because you virtually never know what's going to happen. Just because it's such a good game like that. Now, you do have a Reaper on the way for Gretorp. Not a bad choice. Number one, because this map does have a bunch of watchtowers that you can secure. And number two, the map is so large that in order to scout, you either have to scan or get a quick unit like a Hellion or a Reaper. And you can also deny that scouting and use the Reaper to kind of clean out that kind of geyser steal that we were witnessing right there. So as they do a lot of damage versus structures, 30 damage there per shot. Not too bad at all, though he should really, I honestly think he should use the Reaper to start cleaning this out, just so he does have that gas. But I'm assuming that Gretorp is going to want to start expanding, which is exactly what he's doing. And this was, in a way, kind of forced by the gas steal, but he may have had this planned already, which is why he wouldn't have had that gas in the first place. So is Gretorp completely thrown off by this? There's really no way to know for sure what his build order he had planned, but for now he's just going to be forced to expand here, which for the Protoss player, that is good, because you kind of know, well, I stole his gas, this is how long it took him to get his gas back, so he is most likely going to be expanding off of this. So that means he can either play more safe or try and punish the Terran player before quickly expanding. He does seem to want to play it safe here. He does have his Nexus on the way, a little bit behind Gretorp's, and thankfully for Gretorp, he is building that at his natural rather than having to fly it over there, so he can transfer SCVs the second that it is done. And you can see that Gretorp is in no hurry to get this gas. He already killed the geyser and isn't even worried about grabbing it right now. So I really don't think he was thrown off too much by the fact that he had to get his gas stolen. Following this up by getting the 3 total racks, which is completely standard, and we'll start getting add-ons on these, I'm sure. And 3 racks just really gives you enough units to kind of, you know, just sit back and, oh, apparently we have a little attack going on over here. I was wondering why this bunker was magically not building, as because of the Cruncher Micro, able to not only kill the Reaper, who exploded painfully, also able to kill several SCVs there. The Stalker does have 3 kills, and going to be marching it in here. He won't be able to do too much more damage here, it looks like, but he is going to get invaluable scouting in with this Stalker. Does get surrounded there by those SCVs, but units lost tab going to show us our Protoss player losing way more in that engagement, but he did get that nice little scouting in. Doesn't have to get a super fast observer or anything like that to try and scout in. And now Cruncher is on 3 gateways, but if you're wondering why he doesn't have much of an army, it's because he has 31 probes and an expansion that is fully saturated almost on the mineral line, as if you look at Gretorp on the other hand, he does not. So this is definitely starting to favor Cruncher a little bit. We do have 1 more Reaper on the way, which is really unfortunate for him, because you don't want to make more than 1 Reaper if you don't absolutely have to. They do a lot of damage in the army, it's just their range is so short, and they have so little HP that they're so fragile. They're like little action figures. Trying to use an action figure in your army, not a good idea. I mean, look, only 50 HP on there. Marines have 45, but Reapers do cost that gas, and the range on them is just so bad. 4.5. Which is just not good. A Marine has a range of 5, so that means the Reapers are in the front, and they take all the damage right out of the gates, so they really almost never do anything that effective in battles. They do a lot of damage, it's just they're so fragile, man. You can't do anything with them aside from use them for harassment or use them for scouting. Now, we do have double forge for Cruncher right now. Could start working on those upgrades right away if he decides to do that, which mass upgrade versus Terran is so good. This Reaper's going to scout over here. You can see Gretorp being very active with these units, trying to see the timing of the expansions. And he's going to scout this and realize, okay, well, it looks like Cruncher is going to be attempting to put down a Nexus right here. Was able to snipe 1 sentry. Will lose the Reaper in the process. But not only do you get the cost of the sentry lost, but also the energy, which is really the sentry's whole point. Because you guys all know they got tickle noodles, which sounds disgusting, but really it's a giant piece of wet noodle that doesn't do any damage. So no one's making sentries for damage. It's all for that force field and the Guardian Shield. So if you can kill him, especially at this stage of the game where the Protoss player is trying to use his gas on the upgrades. I mean, look at this, double upgrades getting chrono boosted out. Losing 100 gas like that really sucks a lot as a Protoss. And also losing that Stalker who is randomly up there, probably trying to keep an eye on the Terran player. Now Gretorp looks like he may be moving out here. Is he going to salvage these bunkers? I think it would be wise for him to do that, just because he has spent a lot of money on there. You can see the supply discrepancy. Part of that is because 300 resources have been spent on these bunkers, and also the fact that he only has 3 barracks, just now throwing down a 4th one. But I believe I saw 2 medevacs. Yep, so he did get out some high-tech units out of these starports already, working on getting, I would assume, additional ones there. And is Cruncher going to go for mass gateway units? I want to say yes, and I really love this build. I wish I was good at it because it's so fun. You just get mass upgrades, and then attempt is the. So as it turns out, this game is way too epic that my power actually went out for a couple of minutes. Living in LA, and my power still went out at how epic StarCraft 2 is. So we are back. I don't remember what I was saying at the time of the power outage, but my computer is up and running again. Thankfully, no major damage has been dealt to me or my computer, or really either player in this game. If we look at the units last tab here, I mean, Cruncher's definitely behind, but he's been able to recover quite easily and is going to start working towards getting down that expansion. You can see he does have his probe at the ready, and he now has 400 resources as well, so he could easily do that. But I believe his Templar Archives is now done, and he is going to be working on that Storm, which the nice thing about that is the Templar are only going to cost a lot of gas, not a lot of minerals, so that's why he's going to be able to afford to expand. And he is teching up, so he is going to be fairly vulnerable here moving forward, because look at this. He's getting 1 attack, or he's getting 2 attack, 2 armor, Storm, Blink, and the High Templars right here. So the majority of his money is not on a powerful ground army. Now, unfortunately for Gretorp, he is going to be expanding himself, so he's not going to be able to punish the Protoss player for teching like this. And a Protoss player who goes unchecked with tech is going to be in really, really good shape. Gretorp also has a sensor tower here, just delaying his army that much more. Now, he does have a lot of production facilities up, and just needs to make sure that he can afford to produce out of these, but he is going to be stuck, it looks like, for now, albeit temporarily, Marine and Marauder. I'm guessing it's not going to be temporary. He's probably going to stay on that for the remainder of the game, and considering he's going to be going against a very nicely upgraded Protoss ground army, we will see. Now, a lot of it's going to come down to that storm dodging, which unfortunately for Gretorp, he has very Marine-heavy composition. He does, however, have a Ghost on the way, which he could easily use for EMPing those High Templars. If they have Cloak, you can cloak them and then snipe them quite easily. Don't know if we're going to see that utilized or not. May just try and stick with the beefy EMP rather than trying to use some sneaky play that costs a lot more money just because you have to get the cloaking, and if you get too far behind enemy lines and you lose the High Templar. Now, Gretorp did decide to go for a planetary fortress at his third base rather than an orbital, so he is playing it safe, but the problem is that in StarCraft, if you don't take very many risks, then you can easily become far behind, and that poor Marine did not stand a chance against that Stalker. +2 attack just finishing, +3 armor is on the way. The Stalker's trying to get out of there. He's not going to make it though, as he does get taken out. And there is 2 pylons, I believe. Yep, 2 pylons set up over here. No, a third pylon over here as well that I'm not sure if Gretorp knows about. We'll see if he swings around to take those out, but this will allow for Cruncher to do counterattacks and things like that should he decide to. Now, there is going to be a command center right here, which if it flies over here will spot this pylon. Gretorp is really being aggressive with these expansions. I think he realizes he's behind in upgrades and possibly behind in tech, which has he seen the, I don't know if he's, yeah, he has seen the Templar Archives, may have seen the High Templar as well. How many High Templar are on the field? There are 6, which are now going to be starting to get all their energy, just now getting enough energy for Storm on those, and these guys have much, much more energy, so we'll be able to storm like crazy. We should be seeing quite a few storms. Gretorp moving out towards the center of the map a little bit with these bunkers. He does have 4 bunkers set up now, and he may be spreading himself too thin. I'll be interested to see, because he's really the only 2 ways they can get, the Protoss player can get to the main and expansion is on the ground, at least through this way. So he is going to try and defend that. The pylon, does it spot this command center? Yep, it does spot that. See it land right there. He knows exactly the timing of that 4th base. So Cruncher has to decide, okay, am I going to expand myself, or do I have enough tech structures that I can just max out off of this 3 base and completely crush my opponent? Because right now, Gretorp's army is not very terrifying. If we look at the units tab, 15 Marauders. The majority of it, though, is Ghosts and Marines. I almost said Ghosts and Goblins, but it is Ghosts and Marines for the Psy Storm to happily eat up. So Gretorp just needs to make sure to keep those Marines alive and stay on top of his upgrades. He is working on the building upgrade, which just makes them a little more powerful, and does have the weapons and armor upgrades on the way, as well as another sensor tower. I don't think he could be much more defensive in the style of play that he's doing. I mean, his army is definitely not growing as quickly as it could just because he's playing so defensively. And there's 3 High Templars over here. Could be up to no good if he sneaks them over on the right side to storm that expansion. Although, thanks to Gretorp, there's not that many SCVs working here right now. Only a couple. And this just shows you how big this map is by the fact that those sensor towers hardly detect, you know, even the corner of the map. So here comes a drop right here. It does look like a couple of Stalkers will be warped in, able to kill this. Could delay the expansion. No! Marauder's going to clean this up. The Warp Prism says, well, good luck, guys. I think you've absolutely got this. And look at this. SCV is attacking the High Templar. The High Templar, though, literally sacrificing themselves to kill off those SCVs. So he is delaying mining at 2 locations, but he did not do that much damage. Now, we are going to see a potential warp in at this location as well. This is one thing that Protoss players, I think, underutilize, is the Warp Prism. Because, look, you can run in here, warp in a couple units, then you run them over here, warp in a couple units, run over here, warp in a couple units. And if a Terran player does not have units in position to deal with it, then they all of a sudden are running all over the place. Oh, DTs! Sneaky DTs in here. The drop is going to get spotted over here on this side by the pylons over here. It does take out 1 engineering bay, delaying the upgrades even more. And it is, oh, it's 3 DTs and 2 Zealots is what we're seeing right here. And there's even a DT over here hacking away. So Cruncher making a lot of DTs and putting them in very strange places. And these are going to get cleaned up, though. This DT says, ooh, I do not want to mess with that. Instead, I want to mess with the supply depot because they are much easier to kill. And so we'll continue harassing there. Scanning over here to clean this up as well. So all 3 of those original pylons have been taken out. These Marauders are hutting it away for their lives, trying to escape that. So good multitasking by both players. 15 kills on this DT. And with that +3 upgrade, he is able to one-shot these Marines. 17, 18 kills. The massacre is continuing, especially with these Stalkers over here, which don't have any kills. With that +3 attack upgrade, they are just so devastating. This Dark Templar up to 22 kills. More DTs going to be warping in. Just kidding, they are called Zealots. As the Terran player can see these quite easily, trying to focus down supply depot. Not a lot of damage that he's going to be able to do at that same time. There's going to be an attack over here. These bunkers are fully loaded, though, with units. Unfortunately, it is all Marauders, which these Zealots seem to not even care. It's like throwing tomatoes at this amount of Zealots if you are a Marauder. And it does look like Cruncher's going to continue to try and push in here with this army, although it does look like Gretorp will be able to hold this off. The Warp Prism is still up here. The Marauders are like, should we shoot it down? Nah, we are programmed not to be able to aim our fatty arms up into the air. Looks like he's warping in Unisys right on top of the Marauders. Going to be able to take all of those out. And if we do look at the units lost tab here, our Protoss player has lost more, but I believe he's killed way more workers. Yes, he has been able to kill 24 workers in all. And this drop could do a lot of damage, maybe down here or something. Although this expansion, he has, I feel like this is like an actor probe, where he's just bought, his own Nexus. He's got some cannons on the front lawn. He's got, some kind of guest houses. But then here come all his annoying relatives to kind of fill out that expansion. But regardless, there is going to continue being more harassment over here. The Vikings finally say enough is enough, are able to clean that out. And Gretorp finally able to get +3/+3 on the way. Should have that before the next major Protoss attack. And gonna try and drop right there. Does lose the medevac that actually had units in it. So if he runs this Marine around the back, he should be able to start harassing these probes, which is exactly what he's going to do with that one Marine. But the Stalker's like, no, sorry, bro. You weren't invited to this Protoss party. So able to clean that out. And both players have taken some losses. I would say that Gretorp has been the loser. I mean, overall, the Protoss player has lost more in resources, but I feel like Cruncher has had more map control. Now he has an additional base on his opponent, and I believe he does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no, it is identical amount of bases, but the fact that he has this base down here unmessed with the entire time is definitely a huge advantage for him. And oh, don't drop another one of those. Almost dropping yet another sensor tower on top of the other sensor tower, so that obviously wouldn't have been worth it. But really, Gretorp's definitely going to have to find something to do. I mean, like, it's just so weird. He's getting all these random upgrades like high-sec auto-tracking. He has the building upgrade as well. He is now working on personal cloaking for the ghosts. So Gretorp has been working on a lot of upgrades that are not good in a straight-up battle. So if it comes for a fully upgraded, 20 Colossus, which is what Cruncher seems to have, if he engages in a straight-up battle, he will be in a world of hurt. But he has stuff that is good kind of by itself. Like, it does make the bunkers a little more powerful. It does make his ghosts a little bit more powerful if he can manage to use them effectively. Now, the high-sec auto-tracking, I'm not trying to knock it too hard because it does make missile turrets much better against the Colossus, as it does increase that range by 1. And missile turrets can shoot the Colossus. Here comes the attack, though, and supplies are exactly identical right now. And it does look like Cruncher going to try to engage here. Now, Gretorp, I don't think he's getting another random upgrade, by the way. But I don't think that there's enough Vikings. No, there's a whopping 2 Vikings. He does have a nice concave, though, and lots of storms as well as EMPs going down on both sides. Gretorp deciding to beef his way in here. Can he kill all these Colossus? Marauders turn out are pretty good against them if they have the nice positioning there with that +3/+3. And it does look like Gretorp, wow, able with the perfect concave to take that out. And again, he definitely won that battle there. A couple of random DTs kind of working their way up here, trying to sneak past the missile turrets, and they do have several kills on the expansion over here, able to take that one out during that major battle. So even though Cruncher lost that battle, he was able to cause some damage to the workers. And again, it was 24, now at 36. So Cruncher really using good multitasking there to try and keep Gretorp's army whittled down as much as possible. It is 167 supply to 141 now. So Gretorp definitely behind, but he has every tech unit in the game, basically. I think the only thing we really haven't seen is air units, but I did see a Stargate. 2 random ghosts are going to get off their EMPs before getting hacked down. So Gretorp, if he decides to engage this, will be going against an army with no shields, but these High Templar do have energy. So we are just waiting for an EMP if it goes off on all these High Templars, which I believe, yep, they are all grouped to 1 hotkey right now. And people make fun of me for doing that, but hey, it does look, oh god, that's why you don't group them all in 1 hotkey though. But it looks like Cruncher deciding to use 1 hotkey. This army gonna get taken out, only enough energy for 1 storm. The entire army did sit in it though, so this army is nearly dead. If these Archons finish, they may do a little bit of damage. Here come the reinforcements right there. There's the Archons, 1 shot, zapping away a huge amount of units, like I was saying, just because the army is so low on that HP. But Gretorp losing this expansion really starting to hurt him now, as he doesn't have that many mining bases left. I believe he has this one and his natural kind of up. That's his 3rd base, rather. His natural's right here with very few resources remaining. At the same time, though, Cruncher going to be expanding right here. So if Gretorp doesn't do something about this, he is definitely going to fall behind. Here's these upgraded bunkers that you almost never see I can't even remember the last time I've seen bunkers that are upgraded, just because rarely a Terran player will have to rely on them as heavily as Gretorp has had to, and is going to just load those bunkers up right there. And you can see they do have 3 armor now after all those upgrades are completed. So Cruncher going to be marching in here with a couple of Archons. Will lose 1 Archon and 2 Zealots, it looks like. So not a good situation for him to be in at all. The DT going to check this out over here. There are a couple of long-distance mining SCVs he could kill if he catches wind of those. But right now, 195 supply. This shows you Cruncher's expansions are really starting to pay off. Look at the amount of cannons he has over here. Really impossible for the Terran player to march in there with the small amount of units that he has right now and kill it without giving time for Cruncher to either counterattack or go ahead and clean up those units. So right now, the income, let's take a look at it. Both players are mining quite heavily. A lot of that, though, is these mules that Gretorp has just dropped and helping his income kind of stay even. Scanning there to take care of that DT. And both players, oh, by the way, that was a mothership that just spawned. I don't know where exactly it did spawn, in the main base. So he may use this either for mass recall or just for cloaking his units and trying to use Vortex. Although Vortex is 6 ghosts on the way, really great turn. But Vortex is basically worthless, I would say, because it makes the units immune to damage once they pop out. I think it's a second and a half. So more often than not, if you see a mothership, it's mostly for that mass recall. Gretorp is going to be going for a lot of command centers. Not a bad choice considering that he is falling behind in the expansions, especially with Cruncher expanding down here. And Cruncher has a lot of additional resources that he can just spend on cannons. And these ghosts, Gretorp needs to make sure to keep them alive. They do have that range of 6, which does allow them to kind of sit behind the Marines and stay alive. So he definitely needs to make sure to hang on to those. And the attack down here is going to clean out this base easily. Although, what is Gretorp going to do in retaliation? Is he going to kill this army, or is he going to try and march all the way to Terran base? Looks like he's going to engage this right here. We should be seeing a lot of EMPs. The ghosts have cloaked. I don't think there's a observer over here, so the ghosts are able to EMP everything, literally running into this army, and the High Temple are not able to do a lot of damage there. Now, Gretorp did lose that army, but I feel like the supply counts were heavily favoring the Protoss there. The ghosts are just kind of snickering over there. They have their troll face on as they were able to stealth and run away. 2 Marauders over here going to kill these probes off. The probes decide enough is enough. Will attempt to kill these Marauders, but look at this. Marauders, I think, they take 1 damage per zap once they have, I believe it is 4 armor. So these Marauders are going to be just fine. But here comes the attack right now with the Mothership. This is a lot of Archons. 182 supply to 154. We will see if this Mothership helps out. I think that she will, and does have the 1 shield upgrade. That is so many Archons. Don't know where he got those. A lot of EMPs, though, are going to be eating through those shields. And that is probably more Archons than I've ever seen at once in a game, so I'm very happy to see those. And he did Vortex right there, sucked in a whopping 2 units. And these friend of the units right here trying to push each other into that Vortex. But it does look like Gretorp will get sucked in just a little bit. And it looks like Cruncher going to use his own Vortex to his advantage, using this right here. Now, these units should be immune for just a second. There it is right there. Oh, no, that was the EMP round, but it does make him immune for just a second. And he is trying to beef his way to a victory here. SCV is desperately trying to repair. There's going to be the GG. And it does look like Cruncher able to win with that Mama ship. It does have 4 kills, and these are the Colossus, really, though, are the ones who won. Look at the upgrades. 21 damage times 2, that is 42 damage per shot, with a range of 9. Fully upgraded Protoss are terrifying, and I cannot emphasize that enough, that getting upgrades as Protoss is so crucial, which is really why Crunch was able to just beef his way into a lot of victories in these battles. So 176 supply to that 97, using a Mothership, and a lot of Archons to his advantage. Where's the Archon? We can see the damage on that as well. 47 damage versus biological on those Archons. So, yeah, this army that Cruncher had, pretty good against Marine Marauder. Never saw any siege tanks or really any variation of the build. We hardly saw any Vikings at all. I want to say we only saw a total of about 4, unless I missed anything major as far as the Vikings go. So, anyways, great game by Cruncher. All these Archons were a couple of shots away from dying, which means that the Colossus would be vulnerable. So I think that Gretorp could have cleaned up this army, but is he going to be able to clean up this army is the question. The answer is most likely no, considering he only has 700 resources, and he was making a lot of units here. I just don't think it would have been enough, especially since Cruncher was right in his main base. And also, look at this. Cruncher had this base, this one, that one, and he did lose this one, but that wasn't even that huge of a deal, though. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Once again, this was from MLG.